everyone. It's Saeed.
And Robin.
And we are back.
Yes, we are on the Resilient Lady of Virgin Voyages. We are on a 7-day Southern Caribbean cruise. We left from Puerto Rico, and that was yesterday. That was just yesterday. Yep. Today was our first full day on the boat, and it was a sea day. We're excited to be on Virgin. It's our first time.
Yeah.
And probably...
Well, no, I was going to say, yeah, I mean, so it's been exciting just to kind of see what all the hype's been about. You know, Virgin's about 4 years in, as far as the cruise line. And so definitely wanted to kind of experience what they had to offer, and it's been good so far.
And what we would have been the most excited to explore about Virgin is the food. So this is a review. We went to, for our sea day brunch, just as a catch up for those that may not be familiar with Virgin Voyages. It does not have a traditional main dining room like most cruise ships. So what Virgin Voyages has a series of restaurants, which would be like specialty restaurants on other ships, but these restaurants are included in your fare. So they are like the alternative for the main dining room. You also have other non-specialty restaurants, like casual restaurants, and you have the Galley. But today we're going to focus on the Wake,
which is so the Wake is generally it's their steakhouse. But it is one of the two restaurants besides Razzle Dazzle, which we'll get to in another video. Those are one of the two restaurants that do offer brunch as well. So if you don't go to the Galley for breakfast or brunch at some point, then you can make a reservation to go to the Wake. And so that's what we did today, again. And we'll talk a little bit about what we got in there. And I think, first thing I'll say there, just the ambiance was nice. Again, definitely an elevated I'll say elevated main dining room. So again, if you want to compare it to a more traditional cruise setting like a Carnival or Royal Caribbean, something like that, it definitely gave a main dining room vibe as far as the setup, but a little step up, if you will. Right. And so it really was. It was good. The service was great. The ambiance was good, and then the setting is so. If you know about cruising or being at sea, the Wake is the trail of water that the ship leaves behind as it's moving forward. And so if you're in the Wake, they basically provide you a view of the back of the ship, so of the ocean as the ship is moving forward. And so what you're leaving behind. And so it definitely is an excellent view. Right now we're literally in the middle of the Caribbean. So
beautiful blue Caribbean water. So like you said, the ambiance and the setting was very nice for that time of day. So let's jump into the food now that we know like the ambiance was great. One thing, because it's brunch, you do have the option to do like your typical brunch drinks like mimosas, Bellini, what's the one with the tomato?
Oh, Bloody Marys, yeah. All of that.
All of those. They did have an option if you want to do a bottomless brunch that was $35. We did not choose to do that, but you are able to buy the drinks a la carte, or you can still buy, the wine and all the other spirits. You can buy them. The wine can be purchased by glass or by the bottle. We also were able to get some like juices from the juice bar. So I started out trying to do something a little healthy because we've been eating a lot. So I did get a beet, apple, and lime juice.
Right.
And it was pretty good. I'm not a huge beet person. Like, I don't like the taste of eating them. But if I can get it in a juice, I do try to do it. I know it just has such good health properties.
And then I got basically a green juice. I think they called it Green with Envy was the name. Kale, cucumber, ginger, and something else. I'm forgetting right off the top of my head. But again, pretty good, healthy. Again, one of the things, and you'll hear us talk about this, really probably with all our food reviews for the most part, is the fact that Virgin, for the most part, makes everything fresh. So these are not scenarios where it's some prepackaged juice that they bought 2 weeks ago and they're just now serving it to you. They're making all of this, I imagine, daily, or at least every couple of days, from fresh ingredients, and so you can taste that.
Well, we're assuming this. We don't know this for sure. That's an assumption you're making based on how it tasted, right?
Right.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Don't hold us to that. That's just an assumption that we're making. So let's get into the food. Let's talk about the starters that we had. What did you start out with, honey?
I started with the fennel and citrus salad, and it was good. I mean, it's a basically a half salad, but it's a good portion. And it had spring mix was the base, and then it had fennel, sliced oranges, sliced grapefruit, pomegranate seeds, and I think it was a honey yogurt vinaigrette. So it was good. It was tasty. Again, fresh. So no complaints there.
And one thing I liked about the menu and all the menus on Virgin, they're very clear about like what's gluten free, what's vegan, what's vegetarian. So that is a vegetarian and gluten free dish. I started out with the poached shrimp. So that was just like your kind of like cocktail type shrimp. It had some horseradish, lemon salt, Meyer lemon, and spicy cocktail sauce. It was about 3 or 4 shrimp pieces there. It was good, just kind of standard. What I will say, I think the portion sizes are really good. I see that they don't give you too much each portion, which I think is good, so it can help you not get too full before you get through all the courses of the meal. And you always can order another round if it's not enough for you. And then for the mains, for me, brunch is typically a little difficult because I am non-dairy. I try to avoid as much dairy as possible, and I also try to avoid eggs just because of food sensitivities. So it's not an allergy. So I do have some wiggle room. But typically in brunch, everything has egg or milk. So luckily I was able to get some options here. The first thing was a vegan dish, and it's called egg in a hole, and it's like egg in quotations. And it was like, it tasted like some kind of like grits or corn fritter. And then inside it had slow roasted bell pepper, arrow leaf spinach, and creme fraiche.
Creme fraiche.
He's my pronouncer. So it was really good, especially for it to be vegan. Had a little spinach in there, got some veggies. It was a different dish. Most of the time, like when they have vegan stuff for brunch, it's just like some fruit or it's nothing, but this was like elevated, and as someone who does eat meat, it was still good. I liked it. And I also paired that with the steak and eggs without the steak. So it was just basically steak, and then it had some braised Swiss chard on the side as well with the sauce on top. I asked for my steak medium, but it came out a little medium well. That was fine. It was still good. It was still flavorful, and it wasn't a large portion, probably like just 3 or 4 small pieces. But I think it was all good. It was enough for me to feel full, and I was thankful that I was able to eat something that did not have dairy or milk.
Right.
Or the dairy, milk, same thing, or egg is what I meant to say.
Yep. For me, I ordered the French toast and the steak and eggs. And so for French toast was really good. Probably was the best dish that I had of everything I ate. Again, seasoned well. They had it was a fruit. I want to say it was a fruit topping. Caramelized bananas, pecans, and then they had a whipped cream topping, and a little bit of maple syrup. Not a lot, but a little bit. But it was good.
Was it sweet for you? I know you don't like when French toast is like too sweet.
No, I thought it was sweet enough, but it wasn't overpowering.
It looked really good.
But it was tasty. It was really tasty. And again, good portion size, so didn't feel gluttonous by having it. And then the steak and eggs, again, same thing. Kind of what Robin said. Steak was good. Mine probably was a little more closer to medium, which is what I asked for, maybe than hers. But yeah, it was solid. The eggs and Swiss chard were all good, and again, the eggs were fresh. You could tell they were freshly scrambled, and they didn't come from a kind of that pre-prepared egg that you probably see, egg powder that if you're at a hotel or something like that you've probably seen before. They were actually, and
these are all assumptions, guys. We don't know, but this is how, based on what it tasted like, you could tell that it seemed that way. I don't want anybody to hold us to it.
But otherwise, food got, I would say, of the 3 items. I guess we did get desserts, so let me not jump ahead of that. But of the main items, definitely I would say the French toast probably was top. And then I might even put the salad second. I thought the salad was really good, the citrus salad.
It looked like it had like a lot of different good textures and flavors, like a lot of different fruits and onions. So I think that's like how they kind of elevate.
Right, elevate it and make it not just normal.
This typical salad.
Lettuce and dressing.
Yeah, it looked really good.
And then steak again, because something has to, well, actually maybe dessert might come in last, and I'll get to that in a second. But of the main dishes, all solid. Didn't the plates were empty when we were done. So
I'll say for me, for the main dishes, what I would rank up top was actually the vegan dish, the egg in a hole. And I think it was because I didn't really know what to expect. So it was a different dish, and it was a good taste. It was a good texture. It was just a different thing for a brunch. So that's why I'll rank it high, because it was unexpected. And then for dessert, we wrapped up with dessert. And
yeah, go ahead.
I was thankful they had a vegan dessert. So it was the coconut panna cotta. And what I loved about the dessert was, usually when I'm on a cruise or something like this, for dessert, I just have to basically get like a fruit bowl. Like that's basically all they would have that's non-dairy and doesn't have eggs. So to be able to get, this is the second day I've been able to get like dessert at a restaurant, and it wasn't just like vegan brownie, it was something that was elevated. So it was really good. It had fresh berries, it had candy orange, and then it also had a pine nut granola, as well as like some toasted coconut. It was like, the presentation was really nice. It had a very creamy texture, which sometimes can be hard when you're trying to do some with non-dairy. So they figured out how to still get that creamy dairy texture. It was good. So I have to say, both of my vegan dishes, I will have to put at the top of the list, because they both were well thought out, had a lot of different flavors, had good textures, which can be difficult when you're trying to make a vegan dish.
Right. And I got the crepe cake. So probably would remind you, if you saw it, of maybe a cheesecake. But basically they take multi-layers of crepes and, I guess kind of smash them together to create a cake, if you will. And it had pistachio crumble, rhubarb, and strawberry compote as a topping. So it was okay. I don't know if I would necessarily get it again, but I don't.
Yeah, you didn't finish it.
It was all right. And now part of it may also be fair. Probably might have been full at that point too, but it was okay. I mean, I think the dessert I had at Pink Agave, which watched that video to find out what that was. I definitely would rank that so far of the better of the two. But again, it was solid. I mean, I wouldn't say it was horrible or anything or nasty. It just was, but I don't know if I necessarily would have ordered that again if we were to go back to the wake, at another point.
One thing I want to say, because you mentioned Pink Agave, one of the most popular dishes they have there is the ribeye steak at Pink Agave. So how do you think the steak at the wake, which is a steak house, compared to your, even though it was a steak and eggs, but it was still steak, compared to your Pink Agave?
I would say the Pink Agave one was better. Now granted, this was a breakfast steak versus if we went there for dinner, where you can get maybe some different cuts.
Right, because what you had at Pink Agave, was that ribeye?
No, that probably was like a sirloin maybe, or maybe a strip. So like I said, it was solid, but I mean, if I had to rank those two so far to her question, definitely ribeye. The ribeye from Pink Agave would win out.
Well, that's what I was asking, was Pink Agave ribeye?
Ribeye, yes. Pink Agave was a ribeye.
Okay, so what I would say, I had a little slither of his Pink Agave steak, and you got to go back and look at our full review of that. But it was seasoned very well, and the steak today was good, but I agree. I think the one from Pink Agave was better. We'll see when we go to the wake later on this week for dinner, how it actually compares. Like when we get like we can have choices in steak to see how it compares to the Pink Agave. But I think it was a solid brunch choice.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was beautiful. The view was beautiful. It was great service. I love that I was able to have brunch and
not have to figure out or jump through hoops to make it work.
A lot of times for brunch, I end up having like potatoes and bacon and fruit. It's just like random things, sides I put together. So I didn't have to do that today. So I was really excited about that. So
yep. Same thing. I think excited for her for that. And then again, I think just the entire atmosphere was good. And like I said, the view of the wake, the literal wake from the ship, really kind of set the atmosphere as well. So
yes, I think we definitely recommend, if you come on a Virgin Voyages cruise, try to get a reservation for the wake for brunch.
At least one day.
It's a great atmosphere, great food. I think you would really like it. But let us know in the comments Are you planning on going on a Virgin Voyage cruise? Have you been on one? What was your favorite brunch? Did you decide to go to the Galley to eat, or did you prefer to do a reservation at the Wake, or what's the other one? You could do Razzle Dazzle as well. So we have that for the next day. So let us know. We would love to hear from you. If you have any other questions that we can answer about our food experience or just our experience in general at Virgin Voyages, put the comment below, and make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate you watching.
Yep. And so we'll be back again with the next one. We're still floating. We'll be in Aruba tomorrow, and excited about that. And so we will continue to bring you along our Virgin Voyages food journey.
All right. Peace.